This is a recipe that I know that you're gonna love. Healthy, low-carb brownies. They are so good, but they're dangerous because you want to eat the whole pan in one day. Ask me how I know. Go ahead and preheat your oven to 325 degrees so it'll be ready when you're ready. I'm gonna use a food processor. You can use a regular KitchenAid mixer or even a hand blender. And the reason I'm using my food processor is because the main ingredient in this is almond butter. And the first time I made these, I did homemade almond butter and I grounded it up right before I made the brownies. And I realized that even when I'm not doing homemade almond butter, that this works perfectly. So our first ingredient is 16 ounces of raw, smooth almond butter. And I'm gonna just use all that oil also. I got this almond butter from Trader Joe's. All right, our next ingredient are 2 eggs, and these are local pasture-raised eggs from my dad. There is a big difference in eggs depending on if the chicken gets out and is able to forage and what the chicken's fed. So if the chicken gets out in the grass, then these eggs are full of omega-3s. Most grocery store eggs are full of omega-6, which are pro-inflammatory. So it's a whole lot better if you can get some local eggs that you know your chickens have been out eating bugs. Now I am going to add a tablespoon of vanilla. And I'm gonna mix this around until it's incorporated. I don't know if you noticed, it got very chunky and clumpy. Now we're going to add the rest of our dry ingredients. I have a half a cup of organic raw cacao powder. I have a half a teaspoon of Himalayan salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and a half of a scoop of your favorite protein powder, and I'm using Dr. Mercola's grass-fed pure power protein whey. Now if you are vegetarian, you can use of course, vegetarian protein powder, and you don't have to use a protein powder at all. Then I have 1/4 of a cup of my no-carb natural sweetener, and this is the Pure brand. It is erythritol and stevia mix. And I have found this to be the best, most even sweetness in a product like that. Love this stuff. And last, I have a half a cup of coconut milk. And this is canned coconut milk, organic, from Trader Joe's. And if your coconut milk has cream on the top, use that cream. Now we're going to blend this up until it's smooth. Now this is a good time to taste your batter. I'm not scared of raw egg, especially if they're local, just to see if you like the sweetness. That's good. And if you feel like you want it a little sweeter at this point, then add a little more of your sweetener in. It gets a little messy here because this batter is extremely sticky and thick, but I have a 7x11 pan, and if you don't have a 7x11, you can definitely make this same recipe in a 9x13. I just like mine thick. So line it with parchment paper because, like I said, this is very sticky, as you can see. This can get messy. I am going to use a piece of wax paper. Push my batter down. And however this bakes is going to be what the finished product looks like. So I'm going to put a little texture in the top of mine. Now I'm going to put it in my 325 degree oven for about 35 minutes, and you would check this the same way as any other brownie with a toothpick inserted, and it comes out clean. But when it starts being almost ready, you will smell this amazing brownie aroma in your house. Our brownies are out of the oven, and it did take 35 minutes on 325. If you're using a 9x13, since they'll be spread thinner, it will probably only take 30 minutes. And they smell so good. What I like to do is cut these in serving sizes and bag them up and put them in the freezer so I can just grab one out as I'm running out of the door or whatever. They'll be very convenient. This is 32 grams, which is a serving, and this has 7 grams of carbs, and that's why you don't want to eat the whole pan in a day's time. But look at this. You could never tell that this was not made with any grains. It's super moist. Oh, it's so good. I love these things. Now I have all my portions, and I'm going to put them in the freezer. They come out just as good as they went in, and then I can grab one real quick and not be tempted all day from leaving that whole pan of brownies on the stove.